Good morning, and welcome to another edition of United Way for Southeastern Michigan's What's the Word Wednesdays. My name is Shayla Zimmerman, and today we're going to talk about utility assistance, what Michigan families need to know for the upcoming year. As a reminder, before we get started, please put your questions for our guest speaker into the chat box on Zoom or into the comments section if you're watching on Facebook. We are joined today by Sean Scane, our very own Director of Utility Initiatives here at United Way for Southeastern Michigan. Sean leads our Michigan Energy Assistance Program team and activities. He has been with United Way for over 7 years. Formerly, he served as a political campaign organizer in North Carolina and Pennsylvania. He was also the assistant to the executive director at Teach for America Detroit. Sean holds a bachelor's degree in public affairs from Wayne State University. He enjoys traveling to Northern Michigan and exploring our wonderful state with his 6-year-old stepdaughter and significant other. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sean. We're so excited to hear more about the awesome work you and your team are doing in our community.
Absolutely happy to be here. Thank you, Shayla. Excited to talk about utility assistance today. All right, so welcome everybody and good morning. Here to talk about the Michigan Energy Assistance Program today. We're going to go through a presentation and we will have time for questions as well. And if we want to go to the next slide, we'll go ahead and get started. So we're here to talk about MEAP, and that is the Michigan Energy Assistance Program, which is a statewide program that was created to help eligible households with their electric and gas bills. We protect households from shutoffs, late fees, and high monthly payments. We assist households with paying off past due balances, and we offer application assistance to make the process easy for your household. And we offer connection to services to maintain success while enrolled. One thing I really want to stress is that, we're here, accepting applications for this new program year, which started October 1st. And I just really want to stress, if you're falling behind on your bill, or if you know somebody who might be falling behind on their utility bill, now is the time to apply. And we're going to talk about how to apply and some of the different things you can apply for in the upcoming slides. Next slide. So how does MEAP help with financial assistance? There's a couple different ways that we do this. So there's 2 different types of assistance. One is that we make a one-time payment, and we call that one-time payment assistance. So this is, if you're behind and you just need to get caught up, we can make a one-time payment towards your bill to help pay off your past due balance that you might have with your utility provider. And then the second form of assistance is affordable payment plan enrollment. So an affordable payment plan, we have these with DTE and consumers and SEMCO, and these are plans that we can enroll households into. And you receive assistance over a 2-year period. So one of the great things about affordable payment plans is you pay a affordable monthly payment during this 2-year period, and it's fixed. So you never have to pay more than that. We make the payments towards your account each month, and your past due balance is frozen, and that balance is paid off over the 2-year period as you continue to make payments in the affordable payment plan. So, with the winter coming up and, the potential for high bills, a lot of people come to us seeking out these affordable payment plans and getting enrolled in those so that they can have that low affordable monthly payment for 2 full years. Next slide. So one thing I want to talk about is just how to apply for MEAP. Again, assistance is available. We know that, times are tough right now. And we encourage you to apply, as soon as possible. Or if you know somebody who might be falling behind, let them know to just apply as soon as possible. But one thing I really want to stress is if you need any assistance with the below application steps, you can call 844-211-4994 for assistance with your application Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have a dedicated team of care coordinators who are excellent at helping people apply for this program. And they are on, standby to help you apply and, to help, people who are calling and apply. So the first step, though, in the application process is applying for state emergency relief through the state of Michigan. And once you're approved for state emergency relief, then you can apply for additional MEAP assistance. So it's really 2 different parts of assistance that you get when you're applying for utility assistance in Michigan. And we can help with both of those applications. So I really want to stress that again. And the links are right there on this slide right here on where to go to apply for state emergency relief and also how to apply for MEAP assistance afterwards. After you apply for MEAP assistance, you will receive a MEAP application decision. And during the application process, you can schedule a success planning appointment with one of our care coordinators. Next slide. And one thing I really want to stress, we're going to go into questions, but if you are unsure of where to begin, you can call 211 at any time to speak to an information and referral specialist. But we, really want to stress, if you don't know where to start, or if you're looking for resources and you don't know where to begin, 211 is always a great resource to call as well. But we can move into questions.
Thank you so much, Sean, for sharing more about utility assistance like the program MEAP. We do have a few questions coming through the chat. If you are watching from home or at work, please make sure that you're sharing your thoughts and questions in the chat box or in the comment section on Facebook. So our first question is, are there eligibility requirements to get enrolled in the MEAP program?
Yes, there are. So one is that you have to be SER eligible, and SER, they look at a few different things, but your income has to be at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. And that's the main eligibility requirement that they check when somebody's receiving MEAP assistance. For some of the affordable payment plans, there's additional eligibility requirements. Your consumption and your arrears balance has to be at a certain range. But those are things that we talk to applicants about while they're applying, and we're doing, tests to make sure that everybody's eligible before we enroll them.
That's great, Sean. Thank you. And how would someone go about getting enrolled in MEAP?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have applied for your state emergency relief assistance through the Department of Health and Human Services, the next thing that you would do to apply for that MEAP assistance, you can apply online at our site. We have an application portal. It's something that you can, if you feel comfortable, you can go online and apply yourself. But if you need support with that as well, please reach out to us. That's something that we can help you fill out. If you call that number, the 844-211-4994 number, and we can assist with helping with that application process. That's a great question.
That's great. And we have another question in the chat. Do you help with water bills?
Currently, we do not help with water bills, but we are able to, if you call us, we make referrals to other water affordability programs, and we can provide referrals to places that will help with your water bill. So if you are behind on your water bill, there are programs out there that can assist you. If you're only looking for water assistance, we always recommend that you call 211. There are programs available that can assist you with your water bill. And that's a great question too.
Yeah, and so if someone is not approved for the SER or the state emergency relief, what are the other options available?
Yeah, that's a great question. We always recommend calling 211 to see what options are available in your area. The thing that I like to say is it doesn't mean that there's no assistance available, but just finding the right assistance for your situation. For the MEAP program, you do have to be SER eligible, but if you're not SER eligible, if you were denied for SER assistance and you still need support, we always recommend calling 211 to see what other resources may be out there that can help you in your situation.
Okay. And then what information would you need on hand to apply for MEAP?
It's a great question. We always ask that you have your approved SER notice when you're starting your application, as well as your most recent bill. And if you're going through, things like your account numbers for the utility providers that you're going through, that should be on your bill. And just general household information. But beyond those two things, those are the two major documents that we ask for during the application process.
Thank you. I'm wondering too, for that household information, what do you usually require for the MEAP application? What should someone have on hand for the
Yeah,
household
absolutely.
information?
Yep. So, just be prepared to list the household members that live in your home, information about your utility account. How you receive your heat, who your electric provider is, your account numbers, your service address, and be prepared also as you're going through the process to, really after that, it's, providing signatures and just making sure that, you read through the application and all the requirements for me. But those are the big things, just, general, just basic household information and account information for your utility provider.
That's great. Thank you, Sean. A few more questions. So one is focused on, can we help with getting food stamps?
Absolutely. So our team, we are trained as MyBridges navigators. So when you call in, if you need help with applying for any other programs through the state of Michigan, which one would be the SNAP program for food assistance, we can help with that application process as well. And, we encourage you to call 211 if you need any kind of, assistance in that way as well, because we can help through there.
Yeah. And would if someone does need assistance with a SNAP application, would they call 211 or would they be able to call the MEAP team?
Either or. I would always recommend calling 211 to start, because I think it's a great place to get started, where they can provide, a list of resources that may be able to help you in your situation, and even, resources beyond just that initial application. But all of our staff are trained to help with those applications. So, if you're also just interested in MEEP assistance and trying to get that started as well, I would recommend calling the MEEP line as well.
Great, thank you. So this one is a bit, so the other question that we're getting in the chat is, specifically, someone is helping a refugee family with utility bills. They do not have arrear bills, and it is very costly, their utility bills. If someone does not have an arrear bill necessarily, would they still be able to qualify for MEEP? Or
I would always, yeah, that's a great question. I would always recommend starting the application process with that SER application. If you feel like you are falling behind or you're having a hard time keeping up with your bill, that's the best thing that you can start to do. Starting that SER application, having it go through that SER process, the application, and then seeing, what the decision is there. Upon approval, that's when you would start the MEEP assistance portion of that. But we encourage anybody who is, feeling like they can't keep up with their bill or they're falling behind to start with their application for assistance.
Okay, so I'm hearing you say start with SER through the state and move from there. I would say also, I'm hearing, if you do have a question about MEEP, to call the MEEP team regardless, and just see how they can help. That sound right?
Absolutely. Okay. For individual situations, one thing that we can do is we can help to look up your account. We can see what it looks like. We can, we can advocate on your behalf. That's what we're here for. And that's what our staff are trained to do. So please, if you have questions, and if it's about like an individual situation, if you're unsure about your eligibility, we can look into that for you in a more detailed level, and provide you with, the guidance to get through the application process.
That's great. Thank you. Another question is, some agencies haven't received funding for the MEEP program. Does United Way have the funds for MEEP right now?
Yes, we are actively enrolling and we are actively providing assistance right now. That is correct.
Great, thank you. Are there any resources for those who have incomes that are above the eligibility level?
Again, I think, if you are above the income limit for SER, you are likely going to be denied SER. For those resources, I would recommend calling 211 and starting there. And again, it doesn't mean that there's no assistance out there, but it just might be that, MEEP assistance or SER assistance isn't the best, option for you. And you might, there might be things in your area. They're all county specific. So you would want to call 211 and start talking with a community care advocate on what the best resources might be for your situation.
Definitely. Thank you, Sean. So what if a service is turned off? So a utility is turned off. Can you help get service turned back on? The person specifically asking says that they are an older adult, so a senior.
Yep. So in many instances, we can help with that if the application process has been started. This is something that is, it's very situational, and you would want to call our team to start, talking through, your situation. They would have to look into your account, look at some of the eligibility criteria, and start your application. But we have been in the past able to advocate for people to have their services turned back on so that we can get them through the application process and and ease that crisis too. It's always that is a crisis really when your services are off. So we encourage you right away. You can call 211 or you can call our MEAP assistance line, and we will do everything we can to help you in that situation.
Thank you, Sean. And I do want to just make sure the audience is aware of the SER that we were referring to. It stands for State Emergency Relief. And then the other question is, does MEEP pay anything towards future utility bills if the recipients also have arrears?
It's a great question. I think the best way to look at it is if you are enrolled in an affordable payment plan. For example, we will use DTE's LSP program, which is their payment plan that we do enrollments into. But if you are enrolled into that program, you have 2 years of support. So you pay a fixed monthly payment, and you can count on for 24 months receiving continuous assistance over that time period. So you could look at it as, I will be receiving assistance in the future, even though I'm getting enrolled right now. So one of the benefits for that program is you do have that promise of that more long-term stability, and we can help with that, that enrollment to provide those resources long-term.
That's wonderful. So what is one thing that you would want our audience to leave with today about utility assistance?
Absolutely. I think, one of the biggest things is if you are falling behind, or if you know somebody, it's usually, if it's not us, we know somebody who may be falling behind on their bills, and maybe, having a hard time keeping up. Now is the time to reach out. We are here to assist. Please give us a call. We are here to help. We have our coordinators are on standby, and we can facilitate those enrollments and provide that assistance. But I would recommend applying, just as soon as possible if you find yourself in that situation, or if you know anybody else who may be in that situation, encourage them as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Thank you, Sean. And a few more questions. Thank you all so much for your questions. This is really great. So this is actually regarding home repairs. Where can someone call for home repairs?
That's a great question. I would always start with 211 just to see what the available programs are for home repairs. Some of the utilities have some resources that are able to assist with things like, like things that have to do with energy. So whether it's a furnace or, appliances and things like that, and updating that. I know that's all case by case. But I think 211 is the best place to start seeing what is available in your area for home repairs, and those structural home repairs that are really important also for energy efficiency and for keeping your bill affordable. That's a great question.
Yeah, and a follow-up question to that would be, can someone anywhere in Michigan call 211 to get services?
Absolutely. 211 is available statewide. It's a 24-hour line. So at any time, anywhere in Michigan, you can dial 211 and you will be connected with somebody who can provide you that information and those resources.
That's great. Thank you. And what is the income limit for MEEP assistance?
So it's 150% of the federal poverty level, and that is so it scales based on the amount of household members that you have, and so it's different based on how many household members you have. The good thing is if you apply, we do the calculations on that, and we can let you know whether you qualify on income or not. And they would do that through that state emergency relief application is really where they're looking at that income level. So, we encourage you, if you're not sure whether you apply or not based on your income level, I would still recommend applying and having them, calculate that out for you and help you with that.
Hmm. That's great. And then regarding LSP, if you could share a little bit about what LSP stands for, and if you are already on an LSP plan, or I'm sorry, if you're already on a payment plan, can you get LSP?
It's a good question. So LSP is the low income self-sufficiency plan. That's through DTE. And if you are on LSP currently, it's a complicated question because if you have, like, let's say you have DTE for electric and you have consumers for gas, and you're not enrolled in anything to help with your gas bill, we can get you enrolled in consumers as well. So, we encourage you, if your utilities are split between two companies, you can still apply for your other utility. However, if you're on DTE and you're on the LSP program, you can't apply for LSP again, but you are still getting that benefit every month for the 24 months that you are on LSP. And I hope that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, that's helpful. That's helpful, Sean.
Yeah.
And just one more time, what does SER stand for? So we keep talking about SER. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's State Emergency Relief, and that is a program through the Department of Health and Human Services here in Michigan that helps with utilities and energy bills. So you apply for that program through MyBridges. We have staff that can help you apply for that program, but it's really State Emergency Relief. There are dollars available to help people with their energy bills, and that's really the first step for applying for utility assistance in Michigan, is to go through that application.
Thank you, Sean. And just one more question, or two more questions here. So for applicants that rent and they don't own their home, does MEAP help with utilities if they're paid to the landlord, or if the utilities are paid directly to utility providers?
The utility bill has to be in the applicant's name for us to be able to assist with that bill. That's a requirement of MEAP, is that it has to be the primary account holder, has to be the person who is applying for assistance. However, again, if there are, again, if it means that you're not available, or if you're not eligible for MEAP assistance because of that, we still recommend calling 211 to see what other resources may be available to assist you. As there are some other programs sometimes that can help with situations like that.
Thank you so much. So that is all the time that we have for questions today. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean. Actually, I'm sorry, there is one more question that came through the chat. I thought it was important to pause. How long does it take to be approved for MEAP usually?
It can take up to 10 business days to receive a decision for MEAP assistance after you have submitted your MEAP application, and that would be a completed MEAP application. Every now and then we get an incomplete MEAP application, so we reach out to get further documentation just to make sure everything's complete. But yeah, 10 business days, up to 10 business days. Usually it's a little bit sooner than that.
Okay. And then do you know why is the requirement to go through MDHHS to get that SER before being approved for LSP?
It's a good question. It's a requirement that was put in place by the state of Michigan, and it's really to make sure that that the dollars that are provided to the State Emergency Relief Program are also helping to supplement the MEAP dollars. So it means we can apply assistance to more people if they go through that process. But it is a requirement to receive MEAP funding, and because MEAP funding is public funding, that is required by legislation as well.
Okay. Thank you for that. And how can community members help spread the word about MEAP?
Absolutely. Like I said before, if you know somebody or anybody who might be falling behind on their bills, a lot of people don't know that this assistance is out there. And the best thing that we can do is just to make sure that people are aware that there is help available if they are falling behind on their bills. So whoever you're talking to, if you have family members, friends, people you work with, if you work for an agency, and you are supporting, people regularly who are coming and they're applying for assistance, let them know, there is assistance available and we are here to help.
That's great. So while someone is waiting for that, that 10-day period to get their MEAP application approved, is there a way to check on their MEAP application, and what's the best number to call if they wanted to check on their MEAP application?
Absolutely. And we are here to answer any questions for, anybody, whether you've applied, whether you haven't applied yet and you just have questions, or whether you need help with your application. But calling that 844-211-4994 number Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Is the best thing that you can do. We can help with those applications. And if you just have a question like, hey, did you receive it and what's the status on it? Feel free to give us a call. Our coordinators, again, they're on standby to help with your application and to help, just answer any questions you may have.
That's great. Thank you. Could you repeat that number just one more time for our audience?
Yeah, it is 844-211-4994.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Sean. So that is all the questions we have for today. And thank you for joining us, Sean, and for sharing, your expertise with us about energy assistance.
Oh, thank you, Shayla. And thank you, everybody, for attending as well and for all of your thoughtful questions. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. We do have a few more updates to share with you all before we close out today's event. As a reminder, for anyone in our community who may be experiencing a need, our 211 helpline remains available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This includes resources like food, utility assistance, MEAP applications, home repairs, and much more. We always maintain a running list of available services in the community and can connect you to the support that you need. You can also look up resources in your area by using our 211 resource database at unitedwaysem.org/211. Are you prepared for the upcoming November 8th election? Join us for our next town hall on October 19th, where United Way will be joined by Promote the Vote Coalition to talk about our voter access and rights, as well as efforts to expand voter access through Promote the Vote ballot initiative. To stay updated on our upcoming topics and watch replays of previous town halls, please visit unitedwaysem.org/virtual town halls. That website is also included in the chat box. Thank you, everyone. We will see you soon. Stay safe and continue to live united.